Yes, everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. This is the Transfer Zone. I'm joined once again by my man, Marley. We're talking about, of course, big topics today. Kylian Mbappe. We're talking about Wilfried Zaha, and we're talking about Harry Kane. But first of all, you know what's coming. It's that famous intro. Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Transfer Zone. Welcome back to the Transfer Zone. Indeed, it's a brilliant topics. Well, we got a few good topics today. I'm here with Marley, chilling all the way from Rio. Bro, how you doing? Thank you for coming on once again.
I'm doing well, my man. Thanks for having me back once again. This time I don't miss it. I'm just happy to be back whenever I'm here. So it hasn't been long enough for me to miss anything. But yeah, I'm good. It's not as cold as it was last time. Feel a little more comfortable. I like the fact that we're
Oh,
matching, right? Like both with black hats. Is yours
yeah,
black?
I have been wearing the cap for quite some time on the vlogs recently. Yeah, I've definitely got to get my hair cut, Marley. And I'm so glad as well to
As
hear
do I. Yeah,
you
as do I.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for charity this time though, right?
No, no, no. Just to be kind to myself, because that's the whole reason why I'm wearing a hat. So.
Oh, I'm quite surprised you didn't want to go for the long look again, you know?
Nah, nah, nah. That's not
No, not
happening
for
again,
you.
my man. No, no.
Well, it's nice also to hear that you're not moaning about the weather too today, so that's good. And you're fronting an Orlando shirt today, is that correct?
I am Orlando City, yeah. Well, not for any reason particular. I like the kit. I bought it. I do feel a strong attachment to Orlando, though. I'm a Magic fan in the NBA. Orlando's sort of like another home for me. I love it there. No attachment to the football team, though. Just coincidence. I like the kit. It's colorful.
Yeah, it's nice. I like the purple and white mixture. That's very
Yeah.
nice. Shall we talk about our first topic then? I'm pretty sure
Good.
everybody in the footballing world has been talking about this, Marley. And of course, it is Mbappe to leave PSG for Al Hilal of the Saudi League for a whopping 700 million euros a season. What do you make of this? This is literally I've never thought I'd ever hear an offer for this magnitude. Crazy. It's going to change the way we look at football for the rest of time. This might not be the last either. This could be literally the floodgates opening for other players to go, well, you know what? If he's getting that, I'll have that too. What are you thinking of this deal, mate?
I I don't know what to make of it. Like I don't want to get into any topic that I don't have a good understanding of, but like I can't possibly reason in my mind how they're gonna make 1 billion pounds back, or euros. It doesn't matter. It's 1 billion, so it's a big number. Like I have no idea how they're gonna make it back. Like if they spend like 200, 300 million buying him and
Mm,
700 million in salaries for just one year. That's it. Like it has no attachment because Mbappe wants to go to Real Madrid for free the next season. Like that's what he wants. So like there's no way they're gonna make that money back. Like I don't think the league can make that money with TV deals because people are gonna watch it more. People are gonna start watching the Saudi league a lot more than they did before, but it's not gonna go above the Prem. It's not gonna go above La Liga, Serie A, even Liga 1. It's not. So I'm confused. And then like is FFP ever gonna touch this? Like what's I'm sure they're not making more money than this. So you know what, dude? If it happens, I want to say that I don't care. I don't blame Mbappe for wanting to do this. Like, if he wants to go to Real Madrid, PSG don't want him to go for free. He's gonna make a boatload of money and he's gonna go where he wants. But I can't help but feel it's ugly for football. That's it. Like, my word for it is ugly. I don't like it. It's Football's been like too much of a business already. You look at the crazy numbers, but this got to like it's way over. Like, it's way past ridiculous. Like, what's going on? And I'm sorry. I'm gonna go a little further. Like, is there no hunger in the freaking country? Like, why are you spending like a billion in a player where you're not gonna make the money back? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to throw in, just in case, like, we drifted well off. You were saying about financial fair play. There is
Yeah,
no financial fair play when it comes to teams outside of Europe.
yeah.
So this is why they can do it at the moment. And financial fair play, they don't really care about it, to be fair, Marley, because at the end of the day, if it's a fine or whatever, then they'll just pay the fine. Saudi Arabia and Qatar and a lot of other countries that deal with oil obviously get paid probably about $1 billion a day for the resources that they distribute to the world. So this is literally just not even a drop in the ocean for them to be able to do this. They make the money that they would be doing this deal with in one day. So for them, it's worth it because this is where they're able to do what they're doing in other sports as well. I know this is getting a little bit political from me, but they've got the
Hmm.
Live Golf, Marley. They look at what's happened there. You got to look at what else are they delving into recently.
What's the first one you said?
Live Golf, it's the new golfing thing, isn't it? That's been
Okay.
taken away from the PGA. It's their own golfing competition, basically, and they're paying people like $1 million or so just to play on it, not even to win or anything like that.
Yeah.
Boxing, so that's the other sport. Boxing, you hear about that in boxing as well, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of that going on. They're literally trying to get all the biggest fights over in Saudi Arabia, and they're offering a lot of money for them just to fight. And it's, I don't know, it's people say it's sports washing, but look, I mean, Al Hilal, I think, are the team that also want Mitrovic, Marley, and they've got Ronaldo, of course, right? No,
No, that's
Al
Al
Nassr.
Nasser, right? Yeah.
Sorry, Al Hilal wants Mitrovic, and they want Mbappe. Do
Yeah.
you think that he'll be able to carry on and come back into Europe and play for Real Madrid after 1 year? Do you think it is really going to matter? You think the fact he probably is just taking advantage of the fact that it is just a 1 year deal for the 700 million?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't want it to happen, but I don't see a way in which it doesn't. Like, what?
He's
How
going to
can
say
I?
yes, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is. Like, he's gonna make more money than he could make, like, playing 5 seasons in Europe, like being the best, the most like highly paid player in football. He's still gonna make more money in there, like way more money in 1 year. I don't think he stands to lose too much football, right? Like, I think he's gonna be a little worse come the end of next season than the end of this season we just lived, right? Like, we just watched, because he's not going to have the same level of competition. He's not going to have the same level of players playing alongside him. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna ruin his career too much. When you're talking about one of the most important players in football, like, I do feel like it should be addressed, like where you play, all of those things. But man, like, it's too much money. It trumps over like everything else. Like, it money, 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 money. I don't know what else to say, but I can't help but feel that it's ugly. It truly is. Like, I feel like it's staining football a little bit. Like, this is just too much. It's gone to that point. It's exactly what you said. Like, they're just like putting their foot on the table and saying, we can do whatever the hell we want.
Because money
Like, we
talk.
can do whatever. Like, we're not gonna. We don't have to care about the tradition you guys have. We don't. We give zero f's. We're just gonna put the money because we have the money. We can spend the money. We want to spend the money because it's a pride. It's an ego thing. And we're gonna bring the best player in the world to play for us for one season, paying 1 billion, and we're gonna make that money back in a day and a half selling oil, apparently. But it's.
Do you know what I think Saudi Arabia, the league in general, should be actually doing is actually bringing in scouts and coaches and trainers, and trying to bring in academy players and trying to bring up players and make players and develop players.
Exactly.
Then, like,
To help their national team. Yeah.
but then they'd be looked at like, okay, wow, like, look what you've done. Like, instead of this is just not, I'm not really applauding this, Marley. I am for Mbappe because, wow, it's a payday. His family are probably like, yeah, take me to Saudi Arabia right now. Drag me by a horse and cart if you want to. But I just can't believe it when I heard it today, mate. The number, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, dude. I actually like you handed me these news like firsthand. I didn't know. I knew it from you. Like I woke up to your I woke up to your text saying this, and I couldn't believe it. It's like, yeah, it's making a joke out of football, man. I can't.
It is.
I really can't. It's making a mockery out of the game, out of so much history that we have. And I know, like, there's an argument to say PSG, Man City, Chelsea, now Newcastle have kind of done that to football already. But it's stepping up a couple of levels when you're taking it so far of the tradition, right? Like so far away, like bringing it to a league with.
Well, yeah, I think Newcastle, Man City have kind of. I mean, I won't say Man City because obviously there's charges against them, and we need to find out whether they are legit or not.
Nothing's gonna happen, but
no. But if they have been found to be breaching stuff anyway, then it's not 100%. I think Newcastle are trying to do it much differently. I think
it looks that way. It looks that way.
Sensible transfers, not just buying like
It should be said. It should be said. Man City, when they were first bought, like it's not like they started spending crazy amounts of money from the beginning.
No, but they bought in
season, they got like
Robinho. Yeah, but he was like
Ilano.
one of the best strikers in the world at that time. Newcastle have not bought in the best of any position. Who did they buy? They bought
no. They're
what's his name?
The main one was Bruno Guimarães.
No, but yeah, but the first one was what's his name? The left back. Bloody hell, for England. How can I?
No, Trippier, right back.
Yeah, Trippier. Yeah, sorry, right back.
No, it's more sensible, but like Robinho wasn't like that much on the up. Like he wasn't a full starter for Real Madrid anymore. They brought in Ilano as well. I think they brought in Wright Phillips, but that might have been before. I don't know. But it wasn't like all like star-studded team, like all out of the blue. Like they started spending more money a little afterwards. It wasn't off the bat. And I'm sure Newcastle is gonna like they went up a notch this season already. Like getting Tonali, that's a profile like higher. That's one or two profiles higher than the players they got before. So they'll get there. But I do agree that it's been sensible. I just. Like this is a whole other thing. Like this is a whole other conversation, like a very different discussion. And I can't lie to the people watching or to you. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
No, yeah. What they're trying to do is look. Saudi Arabia saw the success of the World Cup in Qatar, which is one of their neighbours, and obviously they do have disreputes with each other politically. So I feel this deal is actually a little bit harder done in the background than people would think, because obviously both clubs, Al Hilal and PSG, have a serious amount of money. They could both have a boxing match and they'd probably both be able to knock each other out. That's how much they've got. It's not far off. So I still think it's a difficult deal to do because of like stuff that is political. So people say there's no politics in football. When you got guys like these in, there definitely is.
No, yeah, this is. Yeah, this is very political, and it's tough to talk about this subject and not get into it a little bit.
I have to, man. It's life, isn't it? Like it's at the end of the day, it's life, and there will be a lot of people that will be looking at this news not because they necessarily like football, but they're hearing such figures in such a torrid time that we're living in at the moment, where the poor, the gap between the poor and the rich is getting bigger and bigger, and you're hearing things like this. And you kind of think like, I hear people like a lot of the time saying how great capitalism is, but are you telling me that this is the sort of capitalism that is really great for society? It clearly isn't. Getting paid that. And by the way, everybody as well, they're saying, that's, I can't remember how much it was a week or whatever, right? I think it's something like 80,000 euros an hour. I think if you break it all up, they don't work 8 hours a day like you, my friend. Right, so there's only like 4 or 5 hours of the day anyway. The season's not as long as the Premier League either, so this is not even a year. Like, this is a huge amount of money for a man who is so talented at his job, and to him it's not a job. Come on, most football players 9 times out of 10, this, Marley, they've played, they want to play it because they enjoy it, they like to be entertainers, and they want to be the best they can be. And he's definitely that sort of character. You can tell he is. The way he played in the World Cup, we were talking about it, weren't we? A phenomenal player. And you can just see, like, it's not all about the money for him. But I think if they said to him that 4 years for about a million a season, I don't think he would have took it. But because it's a 1 year deal, you got to, like, take that offer and go and speak to your family, didn't you?
Yeah, no, you do. Like, it's also like a way to try to save the little respect you have within the PSG fans as well, so that you don't totally screw over a team that has invested in you for a long time. And even with Neymar and Messi, PSG has always put Mbappe like at the very top. So he should like try not to be a jerk to them, even though it's sort of a jerk club, but still, like, he should try to avoid like being an asshole. But not gonna lie, man, I laughed my ass off when I saw the rumors, but I would much rather have Mbappe go to Spurs than him like spending a like random season in Saudi. It's one of the like biggest joke I've ever seen, like Spurs being linked with Mbappe. I laughed a lot when I saw it. I was like, dude, does someone believe that? I did see it. I did see it. No, it's a legitimate thing. I think Spurs, at the very least, they made a call. But yeah, it can't happen.
I can only imagine a swap. I could not imagine that they'd actually be able to afford to buy him.
Probably. I don't think PSG would laugh at an offer of like 120 plus Harry Kane, but I feel like Mbappe would laugh at the possibility of joining Spurs.
I'd laugh at the fact that Daniel Levy would pay out that money and give Harry Kane.
Yeah, it's just something I read. Anyway, like there's no ground, there's no base to it. It's just something I read, but I would rather have that happen, man. I would rather, well, maybe not Chelsea, but still, like wherever, like stay in Europe, dude. This is so random. I'm sorry. I'm starting to sound like I'm moaning here. Like I don't want to come out that way, but it just I hate it. I hate this.
Yeah. Well, look, I've put a poll in. Everybody, if you're watching, please do say yes or no to the poll. Pretty much the poll says, is this worrying football this deal Mbappe's about to do? I'm going to read out some comments, but first of all, I'm just going to read this quick thing about the situation. So the Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal have submitted a world record bid for Kylian Mbappe, understood to be worth 300 million. That's around 259 million in pounds. And we are willing to have the forward for only one season if this is what it takes to get the deal done. The move comes after Paris Saint-Germain left Mbappe out of their squad for their pre-season tour of Japan. Determined to sell him unless he signs a new contract, PSG will accept Al Hilal's offer, but there have been no talks between Al Hilal and Mbappe. And PSG remain convinced the 24-year-old has agreed terms to join Real Madrid on a free transfer next summer. So you're saying you agree that he'll just take a year out, a sabbatical year out, go for the Saudi Arabian League, go to Real Madrid after done, dusted, got your 700 million for the 6 or 7 months it is out there. But he misses 1 year in the Champions League. Does that matter to him for that amount of money?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it matters too much. If he stayed at PSG, it's another team that, like feels like they're cursed within the Champions League. So it's not like he'd be. It's also a rebuild season for PSG. I don't think he stands.
Here's a good question then. Okay, I'm going to throw this at you, Marley. Right?
Mm.
Say there's an opportunity where someone goes, right, Killian, you got this offer or that offer, right? You either stay at PSG for a year, win the Champions League, or you go to allow Al Hilal this year, go to Real Madrid and never win the Champions League. What do you think you'd do?
I think he's competitive. I think he'd choose the Champions League because he knows that he's gonna make a lot of money, but just like there's no God involved to guarantee him like this trophy or anything. The thing is, like, I actually not really asking, but maybe we should talk about this. Maybe a positive side that could come from this is that, like, this amount of money might oblige FIFA to take a look at these transfers, right? Like, for them to try to do something, because it's dude, honestly, I have no idea. Like, I don't understand the numbers. I'm not, like, educated enough to know how much money a team makes in Europe, let alone in Saudi. But I don't really know how they would raise like upwards of 10%
They
of
don't
that
have
money.
to
So
at all.
no,
There's no.
they don't have to now. Sure, with the FFP thing, they're not in the rules, but maybe FIFA's gonna, like, be
Oh yeah.
obliged to take a look at it now, because you're like, yeah, these guys can just, like, ruin football altogether.
The
Because
funny thing is, they never did with China. Really, it just soured out after a little while. People just weren't interested in going and playing there anyway. And now China are actually trying to develop
and China,
young players.
like, I feel like the biggest acquisition China made was Alex Teixeira. I know they've had bigger names in there, but he was a player that was young, that was wanted by big teams like Chelsea back in the day, and he chose China because, other than that, it was either players that were, like, closer to the end of their careers, or players that didn't look like they were quite gonna get there, so they just decided to make a lot of money. That's not Mbappe. It's not Mbappe. It definitely
No, I
isn't.
know, but he's just the first of this kind. I get that. This is a little bit different because it's like, right, you've gone in for like a serious player here. It's not just like an Oscar. It's not. I mean, who else went out there? Who else went out there and come back? There's quite a few players that did, isn't there?
Yeah, but, like, to successfully come back, I feel like Yannick
Fellaini.
Carrasco was, like, the only one that actually had a career after China. Because other than that, like, people just, like, killed their careers there. But even when you talk, like, Ruben Neves is a profile that would have been hard for China to get back then, because he's still in the up. Ruben Neves, like, every single transfer window, he was linked to bigger clubs in England. Every single one. So it's a different profile. So I feel like maybe a ludicrous like transfer like this one might make FIFA look into it with a little more detail, and just, like, try to come up with some basic rules for, like, because this could, like, if this becomes a culture, it could properly ruin football.
This could, yeah,
Properly
it
ruin
could
it.
get out of proportion, couldn't it?
Yeah, because then big players running out of contract, like, this becomes sort of a situation.
Yeah.
Like, they have 1 year left. They're not going to re-sign. The team wants to sell. Saudi is always going to come up. Like, imagine Saka has 1 year left. Arsenal doesn't want to lose him for free. Like, no one wants to spend the money. He can go to Saudi, like, for this kind of money. Even Bukayo Saka, like, star boy, clearly a good kid. Even he would go. Like, it's too much money. I'd go too.
Look, possibly it's a good segue because the next player actually turned it down and went somewhere else. So we will talk about this player next. We're going to read out some comments, though, of course, and just answer them about the Mbappe thing. Noel Kane, big up to you, says, evening, lads. Anthony Erber, I did invite you to come on, mate, but you said you only got home from work. Big up, lads.
Anthony doesn't work, guys. That's a lie. It's all lies.
Yeah, but he's got to work. You got to pretend because his missus might see this. It makes you think the players are in it for the money, but no matter where Mbappe plays, he'd be getting first team football anyway. I can't see him playing over in Saudi. You can't.
With this much money, cuz.
Dude, what you on about?
Yeah.
Even I'm like, that's just you just couldn't turn. I mean, you just couldn't turn that down in the society and in the way of the world that we live at the moment, and everything unfortunately is done by money, isn't it?
I think he'd switch sports for a year for that amount of money. So yeah, he'll go to wherever.
I think he'd play netball for a year for that sort of money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go on, Anthony. Tell us why you think that, because I don't think you quite put it. Big up, lads, from Across the Pond Sports Talk. Thank you for coming in. Anthony too. He says, or they say, and what happens when Neves, maybe Kylian, etc., get loaned out in January to Saudi-owned Newcastle for a reasonable amount? What we say then too, eh?
Interesting. That's an interesting point. I mean, with the Mbappe thing, since it's looking like a 1-year contract, I don't see that happening. But with some other players, hey,
is Al Hilal actually linked to Newcastle, though? It might not necessarily be, because there are other clubs in the Saudi league that are buying players that ain't a part of the 4 clubs that are owned by the same constituents. So it's something to delve into and have a look into. There's a lot of politics in football. Not that I like it, but there is. Big up, cuz. I'm not going to read it out because it might be rude.
Eu tenho uma grande masculinidade. I think he meant something else, but what's written there is that he has a big manhood. That's it.
Well, that's absolutely a lie, isn't it? No need to lie on the streams, mate. Big up Across the Pond. Why is it a player can't take the club to court over being pushed out if he honoured his contract? What can the club realistically do? Big up BX Gunner 81. What are you saying, Marley?
I mean, if a team tried to force, the thing is, a team can't like properly force you out because you need to sign a contract. Mm-hmm. So the most that PSG could do if he rejected every offer and said, I'm gonna stay here for 1 more season, the most that PSG can do is just put him to train with the under 21s, but like he'd be training separately. They can't like not pay his salary. They need to keep paying him. They're not obliged to play him. So I don't think a player can sue a team for that. He'd be making his money, all of that. If they sign for him, sure, that's a different conversation. identity falsification, all that, like that's a serious thing. But I don't see a way in which Mbappe just sues to stay. He can't.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like he's being pushed out. It's just the fact that I think we'll talk about Harry Kane as well. But the fact that they are in their last year, is it easy just to get some cash for him now? I mean, the amount of cash that they are offering to give PSG for it is not too bad, is it? So it's not like they're talking about 50 million on the end of his contract. It'll be probably will be the biggest transfer for a very long time, unless Haaland moves somewhere.
It's getting so ridiculous that I can't even boldly say that it's going to be that way for a long time. I don't know. Maybe the same thing happens to Haaland. Maybe the same thing happens to Mbappe 5 years down the road. I don't know.
Yeah, Haaland made a lot of extra money this year for winning the treble, winning the golden boot. So the bonuses, like, you should see how much money he actually made. It weren't just, what is he on? 400, I think, 400,000, 500,000. Crazy. BX Gunner 81, afternoon, everyone. Big up, everyone. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. Thank you for tuning in. This is arguably the world's number one. The world's number one going to a shit league. It would sour everything.
It would. We love you too. Mate. We love you too.
That was easy. Across the pond, big up league. is state-owned and they own Newcastle, so it's a bit or a lot dodgy if it starts happening. Right, so there is some sort of link, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's something really, really I need to delve into and have a look into. I usually go to Tifo Football for that sort of thing because they really do know their stuff. English Prem, Abramovich, Bowley, and illegal Cite drove market up and too far from Serie A and La Liga clubs can afford. So Saudis are filling a void and seizing an opportunity like they saw in golf, which I told you about. Golf, live golf. Got nothing to say about that, Marley. Now you're good. The market's gone up too much ever since pretty much Abramovich came in and changed the format forever. And now it's just going ridiculous, isn't it? Big up BX Gunner 81. Anthony. So the English Premier League cannot complain much. They are allowed Roman, allowed Bowley, allowed Cite, and being courts forever, and allowed Newcastle to be owned by Saudi. Yeah, of course they did, because look, going politically here again, the UK is very linked with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I mean, the entity Premier League can't complain, but us as Arsenal, United, or any team that's not Chelsea, Newcastle, or City, yeah, we definitely can complain. But I do agree that our complaints are good for nothing. Like it's not gonna change anything. Money comes first. We don't bring any money to the league, so yeah, it's not gonna do anything. But I feel like we're entitled to complain. Like I don't support anything that's happened with these guys. I agree that Chelsea was like the beginning of football getting ruined. They created this culture of ruining football. Then along came City, along came PSG. Newcastle's gonna try to. It's gonna. Like, I'm sure they're gonna start being assholes soon. So yeah, it's sad.
It's all the oligarchs with the Roman Abramovich thing as well, and the Russians bringing in a lot of money into London, and these are the reasons why the Premier League were like, yeah, great, because they're making money, you know.
Yeah.
Anthony Herbert, I just think Mbappe got more to offer in a better league. That's all. Yeah, we all think that, mate. Didn't we? We all agree on that, Marley, right?
Dude, yeah, Mbappe, he's probably the best player in the world, my man. Like I don't think he's gonna win the Ballon d'Or now, but I think he's the best player in the world. So yeah, he has plenty to offer anywhere.
But for 7 or 8 months in Saudi Arabia, when he's at the age he is, he's not going to really care about missing out maybe one season.
No,
not for
still
that.
Going to be number 10 for France. Like people are not going to forget about Mbappe. He's the best thing to come out of France after Zinedine Zidane. Like he's amazing. Like people.
Apart from Patrick Evra, but yeah, I get you. Such a character, isn't he? Across the pond says, "Yup," and we have had to spend loads to keep up. It's the market, I guess.
Yeah,
exactly. We're linked. Man United are linked to Højlund, while Al Hilal are linked to Mbappe. That's how the world's gone right now. Even though I do like Højlund, I'm just saying he's not quite the old Hollywood.
It's a gamble,
yeah. Right, we should move on then, Marley. I'm sorry about that. You seem very unhappy about that topic.
I am.
I knew we had to do it. I wanted to do it because I was like, we need to talk about it.
Of course.
So thank you everybody for writing in your comments. The next topic, and I know Rich from Eagle Eye Football will be probably upset about this situation, but also looking towards the future because Crystal Palace are bringing out some amazing talent through their academy. So I don't think Crystal Palace should worry too much. But if you are a Palace fan or whoever you support, let us know what you think this means for Crystal Palace. Wilfried Zaha joins Galatasaray from Crystal Palace. Is it a step up, Marley, or is it a step down? Some people saying you should have stayed in the Premier League. I say you're playing for a very big supported club in the Turkish league. Yes, the Turkish league hasn't been that great for the last 5 or 7 years. It did have that very big influx around the mid noughties, didn't it? Where it had some decent players and it was putting some money in to buy by decent talent. And they've kind of got a good team right now, Galatasaray, to be fair. I said this to you before, like Mauro Icardi is there. And there are obviously a few other players. I can't remember.
I think the right back, someone being chased by big clubs as well. Sasha something. It's a good. It's a difficult conversation. Like it's a different
Champions League for him. And Champions League for him, of course.
Yeah. It's a different conclusion to get to, whether it is a step up or a step down. I feel like if Crystal Palace plays Galatasaray, I'd put my money on Palace. They have good young up and coming players. I like Crystal Palace. It's one of those teams in the Prem that I, like I'm an Arsenal fan, but it's a team that I've always liked watching. Like they're they've had exceptions, but it's usually an attacking, like flowing football. I like them. I like it as a culture as well. But it's definitely like he's going to a more competitive team, a team that stands like it's, at the beginning of every season, they have like more or less 33% chances of winning the league. They're going to be in Europe, unlike Palace, who needs to do a lot if they dream of being in Europe someday. It's very unlikely. I feel like the owner is switching focus to Botafogo, who's been quite successful recently. And it's sort of weird looking at it because Zaha, unlike Mbappe, Zaha kind of looked like a player that was going to end up at Saudi. Like it made sense. It's a player that, like, great player, sort of in his prime still, but he's not going to improve. So he's not going to reach that world class.
He turned it down, Molly.
Yeah, exactly. He turned it down.
How do you feel? Do you feel happy now that we're?
I'm very happy with that. Yes, he chose football. He chose football. Turkey, I agree with you. Turkey hasn't been. I mean, it's never been as amazing as these other leagues in Europe, but it has lived better days in the past. They have some amazing players having played in Turkey, and I think they're trying to come back. And Zaha, dude, good. They're for the fact that they have Icardi and Zaha, I'm thinking they're going to be competitive going forward at the very least. I'm not too familiar with Galatasaray. I'm more of a Fenerbahce fan myself. I have close friends that support it. But yeah, man, I'm just happy he didn't go to Saudi. I really am. I'm not trying to hate on Saudi in general here. I'm just, because of the Mbappe thing, it's good to see a player like going the other direction, saying, hey, I'm still going to make a lot of money in Turkey and I'm going to be competitive. I'm going to try to like put titles to my resume, because I'm assuming Zaha has like one trophy in his career or something like that, maybe in the United days when he wasn't a full starter or anything, but he isn't like very victorious, so
I think an FA Cup maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Like he probably has like one cup. He doesn't have a league title to his name. So yeah, it's a cool move. I feel like he could shine in Turkey. And yeah, man, I think more than me, like football's thankful for this one. I wouldn't mind having him stay at Palace though, but I do understand that maybe like he's done all he can for that club. Like he sort of like carried Palace for a long time.
Arsenal were linked to him at some point, weren't you? You're very close to getting him.
Multiple points. The main one was back when we got Nico Pepe. Emery wanted Zaha. That was like the common knowledge to the public is that Emery wanted Zaha, but the Cronkies decided to go for Pepe because it was a higher, like bigger name, right? Like someone that was being like more sought after, a little younger, just that profile. And definitely a mistake there. Definitely a mistake by Arsenal, because Zaha's apparently an Arsenal fan. So it would have been cool. The time has passed, but I'm sure like he's been linked with us like 3 or 4 transfer windows at the very least.
I think he has, and obviously he played for Man United as well. I think maybe in the Champions League, since this won't be his first time experiencing that, but at the same time, he's got more experience under his belt as a player, and I think now he might be able to help them and drag them through to the knockout stages. I think that's where Galatasaray are looking to be in the next 3 or 4 years. Maybe they can start off this year great. I think mainly as well, a lot of clubs, Marley, are looking at this World Club Cup that's happening in a couple of seasons, and they really want to try and get into it because it'll be a summer tournament. It'll be great. I'd love to get you on and talk about that actually, and ask you what you think about it at some point in the future, mate.
Right? Yeah, let's set it up.
Let's read out some comments then. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, I just wanted to say this. Rest in peace to Trevor Francis, first £1 million player from England.
R.I.P.
Yeah, honestly, I think he won 2 European Cups with Nottingham Forest in a row as well, might I say, 79 and 1980. Brilliant player, very fast. I heard a discussion with somebody he had on TalkSport earlier, like before he died, and they were talking about Kylian Mbappe, and he was talking about how quick he was and how people used to like sort of say he had that sort of speed. He never thought he did, but do you know what I mean? He's very humble like that, but he was a very speedy player indeed. And yeah, it's very sad news today. Very sad indeed. Shouts out to his family and friends and everybody that of course played with him and knew him, even maybe just walked past him and just said hello to him every morning. You are very lucky to be able to do that. And his legend will live on. His legend will live on. Yep, sadness. Rest in peace, Sir Trevor. Good on you, Anthony. Was saying earlier, would always see him on the shoot magazines in 80s. I would get late. See, we're not a part of this time, Marley. Even I ain't. Well, maybe a little bit.
Not sure I believe that, Maddie, but whatever you say.
So let's read out these comments. Mitro now from Fulham. Going to Saudi and Gala, yeah, got Zaha, Raul, Jimenez. Nah, they ain't got Zaha. Zaha's gone to Galatasaray. Raul Jimenez going to Fulham. That is
Gala.
true.
He said Gala. Gala, you got Zaha. I think it's weirdly spelt, but I think he meant to say that Galatasaray got Zaha.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was another player. I was like, Gala. I was like, I maybe should ask you about him. He might be decent. Let me know. Gala. What's his first name? Raul Jimenez going Fulham. Yeah, I heard about that. What do you make of that quickly, Marley, while it's here on screen? I know it's not been as good since that freak accident where he fractured.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like at his prime, I remember people like putting him ahead of Firmino. Like he was once like one of the big strikers in the Prem, but after that head injury, right? It never got back to being the same. I think it's a decent replacement, but he still like has a big injury in him. It's a step down. But then again, the Mitrovic and Fulham conversation, like we've had this discussion in the past. Like I don't know where it stands right now, but I can't blame Mitro too much.
Is Galatasaray in the Champions League? Yes, they are. They've got to qualify to get to the group stages, but I'm pretty sure they will. They've, they've got that play people like Tractor FC, etc. Although they actually have, you hear some of the. I mean, look, you never know. It's European football; anything can happen. But they should be able to get through it with the team they've got. If they don't, then it's unfortunate. But look, if you're in the qualifiers to get into it, you are still in the Champions League. It is still the Champions League. It does say it stretches from July to end of May. That's how long it is. So they are in it. I thought Zaha would have stayed in the Prem, maybe played for a better team, but he wanted the move, so wish him well. I don't think anybody was going in for him, Marley. I think that's the problem.
And even if they were, like it would 100% be the case for him to be a squad player. And I think like he's at a time in his career where he wants to shine. Like he's been the protagonist at Palace. I think he wants to be one of the protagonists in a team that's more competitive. And again, I repeat, I don't think Galatasaray are better than Palace in any way, shape, or form. I'm a big fan of a lot of players they have in there at Palace. I think it's a team that with like 2 or 3 additions, they could be quite scary actually. But they're like, Palace has like a good 9 or 10 teams ahead of them in the Prem, and Galatasaray, they have to compete with Besiktas, Fenerbahce, and like a surprise every now and then. So
I absolutely agree with that, mate. 2013 Community Shield with United.
Here it is.
What he won. That is all he won. He didn't win the FA Cup with Van Gaal. Because he was there. Maybe he weren't. Maybe he went back to Palace that year that Van Gaal won the FA Cup. Someone let me know. I'm a United fan, but I can't quite remember when we were crap, can I?
That's specific, man. I mean, BX has a lot of knowledge, but that's specific. I'm thinking he looked it up. So, yeah, I believe that it's the only...
Yeah, I'll go with it. But I swear he was at United when we won the FA Cup with Juan Mata, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Zaha is in his prime right now, so he'll shine in the Champions League. I think he will. I agree. That right across the pond. Sorry, bad typing.
It's all good.
It's all good, mate. I'm the same as well. I'm too quick sometimes, and I just end up Can't see Harry Kane going to United. He'll stay at Tottenham. I did see this today. Well, thank you very much for saying that, because that is the next topic. It is, of course, Spurs willing to sell Harry Kane this summer. Will it be to Bayern Munich? Could it be Real Madrid if they don't fancy Mbappe next season, which I doubt it? Yeah. Or could it be Man United? Could Man United go in? Because apparently they're looking at maybe putting in another bid. So it's going to get interesting here now, mate, this one, I think. What do you make of this, Marley? Because Spurs have actually said that it's going to be this summer unless he signs a new contract. Otherwise, he's going.
Mm-hmm. Which is a change of pace, right? Because we thought like he wasn't going to be allowed to leave. You know what, man? Like style-wise, just because their most important player after Ronaldo left, I don't want to say the most important player, but Benzema was crucial for Real Madrid ever since Ronaldo left. There's arguments to say Modric and all of that, but Benzema was huge, and replacing him with Harry Kane makes a lot more sense than replacing him with Mbappe. Just stylistically, ego, like I feel like Harry Kane's most likely like easier to cope with than Mbappe. He looks that way, and I feel like Mbappe is a much better player, but I feel like Harry Kane would make Vini Jr. and Rodrigo evolve a lot more than Mbappe is going to make them. Like, I just don't see what Mbappe brings to these two white players that are very exciting and even younger than Mbappe. But it does seem that they're set on getting Mbappe. It's been a long-term flirting story with the two. So
he missed out one time, didn't he? He could have actually gone and he didn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's looking like Bayern, right? I do feel like United is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's.
I think it is. I think it is.
Read this, bro. Read this. I don't know. Like, this is just something that I've read today. It was about 3 hours ago. Harry Kane chooses Man United as his preferred destination after Tottenham U-turn. Harry Kane has decided he wants to quit Tottenham for Man United this summer, and reports that Spurs could now sell their star striker. The England international has just a year remaining on his contract with Tottenham, and he could leave on a free transfer next summer if a resolution cannot be found before the end of the transfer window. Man United, of course, made him a priority, and his priority mainly is to try and stay in the Premier League so he can break that record.
Yeah, it makes plenty of sense.
I thought it would be Bayern Munich. I've seen fans of Bayern Munich actually putting his shirt on the back of his name on the back of the shirt recently. Ooh. Honestly, even Postecoglou in one of his interviews for one of the pre-season tours. You should look at it on YouTube. I think there's someone in the thingy and they're showing up a shirt of Kane on a Bayern Munich shirt. Have a look at it. I swear it's on YouTube, and he's like, "Oh my god," he's quite embarrassed. But I like Postecoglou. But anyway. What do you think, mate? Is this going to be a bit of a tussle between the two? Yes, he would prefer to stay in the Premier League and Man United, but maybe it's Bayern Munich that are going to be the people that win this deal because Spurs probably don't really want to sell to a rival.
That makes sense too. Well, first of all, I didn't. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So I could have guessed it, but I hadn't seen any Harry Kane shirts for Bayern.
Have a look.
Das ist nicht gut, huh? My friends at Bayern. Yeah, that's That's not
No.
good. That's not good. If he doesn't go there, yeah, that's money poorly spent. But you'll be okay. It makes sense for him to stay in England. I back when we spoke about this, I think it was like two or three streams ago. I did say that United was the only team in England where I saw him going. Like Liverpool could have made sense, but you just don't see Liverpool spending this kind of money. So United was kind of like the one team that he stands a chance of going, and not like some Spurs fans are they're gonna be sour no matter what. But I do feel like it's the one team in England where you can go and not lose, like completely lose the respect of Spurs fans. Because if he went to a London rival, I'm sure like they'd be all like very pissed. It
Mhm.
makes sense for him to go to United, where he's most likely gonna, like at the very least, like score the close amount of goals to what he's been scoring at Spurs. So he's gonna break the record very quickly. It's amazing for United. I know you guys just beat Arsenal, but I'd still like, and I feel like there's not too much bias here. I'd still put Arsenal as the second favorite for the title. But if you guys get Harry Kane, I feel like that conversation changes. I feel like United like skips up to probably the favorite to compete with Man City this season, because Harry Kane is that good. It's tough to say that Arsenal has a player that's better than Harry Kane. Like we have a lot of exciting young talent, but ready-made Harry Kane, like he's beyond Saka, he's beyond Odegaard. I truly feel so. So it's a scary prospect, and it's a good deal. But you're right. I feel like there's gonna be way more leniency from Spurs to sell to Bayern than there would be to United, and I don't feel like Harry Kane is one of those guys that's gonna be like, "Yo, I demand to go to United." If
Well, it's a weird thing because not that it really matters, but Harry Kane's wife was spotted in Munich recently. I don't know, but that's come out as a true report that she was there, the family were there. I don't know, like
I
whether
think
like he might have just
it's
got him visited. He's probably obviously agreed personal terms. This is the situation. It's just about the clubs trying to get to some sort of agreement. And if Man United
mhm.
could come in and throw a bid in, then that might change things up a little bit.
Sure. I still feel like Bayern is the path of least resistance. It's even though you're gonna like sort of like pause your he's gonna pause his, you know, his conquest to try to reach like the try to become the biggest scorer of all time. But I still feel like he'd have plenty of time to come back to England afterwards. Even though United and Spurs are not necessarily rivals, Spurs is not doing well, but they're still like technically in the same sort of conversation where Spurs does begin their season trying to be playing Champions League football next season. So they're still like trying to compete with United. So just like letting him go there, where like the main thing that United needs right now is a striker. And if you're handing them like someone that no one's gonna tell you otherwise, like Harry Kane is one of the five best strikers in the world, an absolute icon of the game. So yeah, I'd still put my money on Bayern, but United makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Scary prospect there.
So you think that if Man United did get Harry Kane, that they might be in contention for the Premier League, or they still far off, mate? Or they
No,
missed
no,
they
no.
number 9?
The thing is contention for the Premier League. I mean, if City plays what they play, no one's gonna be in contention. Even if United gets Harry Kane, even if Arsenal get Mbappe, dude, like they're that far off. With Pep, with Holland, with the defensive setup they have, adding Guardiola to that, it's unlikely. The thing is, and you got to hold on to something, right? Like no one's ever won 4 prems in a row. You gotta like believe that a team that wins everything the season before, like there's gonna be like some sort of a drop, right? Like where's the hunger gonna come from? From the 20 fans yelling outside your home? Because it's not even like it's not a Real Madrid where you're pushed to do that every freaking season. Like it's a small club with money, so I don't find it that guaranteed that they're going to be as awesome as of now. I truly feel like Arsenal stands a good 30% chance of winning the Prem. But if Harry Kane goes to United, I'd put those 30% to United, even though there's arguments to say that Spurs like their attacking players are better than United's players, so he'd be going to a worse attack because I
Yeah.
don't think Rashford is as good as Son. I don't think United has anyone as good as Kulusevski, and I know he's had a shit season, but even Richarlison, like he could be fighting for positions at United if you're talking about the Everton days.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but the team overall, like, you know, like Spurs midfield, their defense, garbage. And United does have good players in those positions. They'd be like one player short of getting like a full, like world class lineup. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's read out some comments then before we finish up. Across the Pond Sports Talk says, I thought buying and get guaranteed silverware.
Yeah, I don't know like how players look at this, like because the guaranteed silverware, sure, you're like in your curriculum, in your resume, you're gonna have trophies, but do people actually give a shit about you being one of the 29,000 players that has won the Bundesliga with Bayern? That's the thing. Like, sure, Harry Kane is amazing. He's one of the best players in the world. He's never won anything. So it makes sense for him to want to go there, just touch some silver. Because, like, the only chance Harry Kane stands of touching silver if he stays at Spurs is him becoming a werewolf and being killed. Because other than that, like, it just doesn't happen. So, sure, I just feel like it doesn't, it doesn't matter. I feel like if I was a professional player and like Bayern wanted me, sure. A lot of history sounds like fun. We're gonna be playing good football, but do I care about just being one more player, just being one more guy that's gonna do the obvious?
Never mind, eh? BX Gunner81 says that conversation changed drastically. He always does sometimes on here, mate. We're just doing it off the loop, man. We ain't got it scripted. I agree. Across the pond, he'll win trophies at Bayern for sure. Did Bayern offload Mane already? He is linked to Saudi Arabia. It's still ongoing. The bid's been put in, so potentially. Alfonso and Musiala would set Kane up for many goals, and win things. Yeah, absolutely agree.
I agree. Yeah.
That's it for the end. That's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Marley, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Really does mean a lot. We've had a really good discussion here. Marley, where can everybody find you, sir? Thank you so much for coming back on once again.
I mean, most importantly, you've found me already. I'm home here at Football United TV. This is my home. If you want to catch me talk about football, this is the only place you see that, if you choose to. And you can follow me on Instagram at CharlieMiller93. You can follow me on Twitter at MarleyChillin.
Thank you, Marley, and thank you to everybody in the comments. He said, did Gnabry or Leroy Sané leave? I don't think they have yet, mate. No,
Me neither.
not. We'll see. You never know what will happen with all this Saudi talk and all the situations going on. Maybe they all will all leave. Maybe Bayern Munich will have nobody, and they'll have to raid Dortmund again. But look, thank you everybody for tuning in. We should be back in the next few days because there's going to be lots of transfer news coming out in the next couple of days, like there has been pretty much all summer. So thank you so much for tuning in. We literally just go over the main topics of transfer news. We don't really update you and try to break news to you like everybody else. Breaking news. No, it's not. This probably was breaking news 2 days ago, but here we are discussing it.
Breaking opinion.
Yeah, breaking opinion. You want to know what our opinions are. But thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you again sometime this week. I'll let you know, update you. We've got all our other shows coming up as well. They're all set up, so you can look there in the YouTube situation below, and you can see all the shows that are about to come up in the next couple of weeks for the new start of the Premier League show, Champions League, etc., etc. But until then, everybody, Have a brilliant Monday. Have a brilliant rest of your week if you don't see us. And until then, ta-ta. Bye-bye.
Ciao.